What, as a guy, do you wish girls knew? Story 1. If you don't tell us you want something, we honest to God won't know. Case in point, my ex was sitting at home and I was going to the local shop. Hey, do you want anything from the shop? No, I'm good. She got mad because didn't buy her anything. Reminds me of a comment I read on a relationship sub. I once told my boyfriend I didn't like flowers, and he never bought me flowers again. Well, yeah. As I once told my wife, don't be angry at me for listening to you. Bruh, that's so relatable. On the flip side, one time when she and I were dating, my college ex ate some of my food without my permission. They were really good cookies someone had made for the both of us, and she ate all of them, including my share. I believe I had grounds to be upset over that, which rightfully was. She apologized and offered to make it up to me. She offered to take us to the grocery store and get these crackers I'm obsessed with. Happily accepted the offer, and she got mad at me for thinking she wasn't bluffing, hoping I'd say, no, you're fine. I don't do that kind of theater, so to speak. That's some bad stuff. You are 100% within your right to be ticked. Calling it theater is brilliant, though. It's purely performative and means nothing. Just be honest and cut the bad stuff. I'm so glad my fiance doesn't play those games. It's exhausting when people do that. I believe I've said this before in a few other videos, but I have to make it clear here. It's all about communication. No one is a mind reader. You might be able to ascertain what someone might be feeling. You might be good at reading body language, but that's no excuse or substitution for talking. It's part of what makes a relationship a relationship. Story 2. When we tell women that we don't know how we feel about something, it's usually true, and we genuinely don't really understand how we're supposed to feel personally. We weren't allowed to express emotions growing up, and it turned into me not being able to understand my emotions. I'm with you there, dude. Most of the time, something happens around me or my father. We don't have an emotional response. We try to figure out the best way to fix the problem, or we're trying to understand what's happening and why it happened to either make sure it happens less or more accordingly. I know he was raised to be that way by his father and that he raised me that way. The constant rub some dirt on it when you're hurting, or the real men don't cry. The one heard the most was, you can't feel your way through this problem. You have to think your way through it. The worst part is, I know it's a problem. It killed relationships I've had. It makes it hard to understand what some people are going through. And in the moments where something so extreme happens that my brain finally pushes the emotional response to the forefront, it's overwhelming. It's a strange dichotomy to know why I'm separated from my emotions 99% of the time, but not being able to figure out how to fix the problem. I've been in therapy for years trying to figure out something that works to no avail. The funny part was talking to my roommate about it once, since he's also a therapist, and was curious. He said it was kind of sad that that was how my dad and I have lived our whole lives. To which replied, well, on the bright side, we didn't know we were supposed to be sad. There's a popular phrase in some forms of media these days. Facts don't care about your feelings. Well, feelings don't care much for your facts either. It goes both ways. We are not completely logical creatures. We are not completely emotional creatures. Just depending on one part of yourself is not always going to get you through everything in life. Sometimes you have to think it through. Sometimes you have to feel your way around. Story 3. When I say I'm not thinking of anything, I'm not trying to hide things from you. I'm exploring the sea that is my mind. No destination, just exploration. Also, when I accidentally make a little noise or whisper a random word aloud, like shh, and you ask me what's up, when I say nothing, it doesn't mean I'm hiding something or lying. 99.7% chance I'm thinking about a time in the 4th grade when I seriously embarrassed myself. It's nothing, I promise. Also, if I'm in a bad mood, there's a 99.5% chance I'm mad about something totally unrelated to the relationship and not being passive-aggressive. If I'm working on something and I yell, freaking mother friender, because a bolt snapped and the wrench crushed my knuckles, I'm not mad at you or in a bad mood, nor do I need medical attention or ice. I'm just momentarily frustrated at this stupid freaking weak old bolt. It would be very easy to say that women are very self-centered and always looking to see what the problem is with themselves when guys do stuff like this. I don't want to say that's always the case. It might be sometimes, but not all the time. It's great that girls are very invested in the relationship and want to make sure everything is okay, but not every little thing is about the relationship. A healthy relationship means people have some sort of interests and work outside of the relationship. Story 4. Girl, I'm dropping so many hints. Why doesn't he get them? Boy, I think girls are dropping hints, but I'm not sure I want to risk my friendship and embarrassment, so I'll just ignore them. I think those are hints. Wait, no, don't be a creep. She's sitting on my lap. Yes. Wait, no. I just read a comment about a girl who sits on everyone's lap. Don't do anything. Don't be a stalker. She left. I literally moved out from underneath a girl that sat on my lap, and she gave me a weird look. But like, holy hell, she had been giving me mixed signals forever. And I even asked her out before this, and she said no, so what the hell? This is the kind of junk we have to deal with. Story 5. Get away from me at night in the summertime. I still love you. I'm just hot as hell and don't want to snuggle. My girlfriend was sleeping on me last weekend and my mind was screaming, "Get off me, woman! How are you under a blanket in this heat?" Anyway, no, not to wake a sleeping demon, so let her be. My husband figured out I was pregnant when it was me pushing him away complaining about being hot in our tiny apartment in January. We live in Florida, so it wasn't freezing, but anything below 68 at night meant I was going to add an extra blanket. My wife and I have separate blankets for this very reason. I hate being hot, and she likes being hot. So I sleep with a light sheet, and she sleeps with 3 layers of blankets. I'm a woman, and this is 100% me. Same. I have a very snuggly man, and I absolutely love it, but I hate being hot. Typically in the summer, we just snuggle a few minutes, then separate and sleep. Story 6. Just because I'm not talking doesn't mean I'm not enjoying my time with you. Only speak if it improves upon the silence. Exactly. If I have nothing to add to the conversation, it's better I stay quiet. I don't want to annoy anyone by talking too much or killing the silence. Not every silence has to be awkward. I knew I was going to marry my now wife when I realized that the awkward silences in our relationship weren't awkward. We can be completely turned into each other without talking. Nothing is more reassuring in our relationship than when we're just quietly hanging out and she just leans against me. Love that. What are you thinking? Nothing. Just enjoying this. Why are you grumpy? Is all I hear from my fiance. Sometimes I just want to be quiet. As soon as someone says that, I immediately become grumpy. I think some people want to blame the constant bombardment of TV and social media and all sorts of stuff into our brains for this kind of behavior. This kind of behavior, though, has been happening since beginning of time. I think it speaks better for the relationship when you can be silent around each other and still enjoy it. Enjoying someone's company doesn't mean you have to constantly be talking or looking or doing something. I think that speaks to a good relationship when you don't have to be needy all the time. Story 7. When we say that we're thinking about nothing, the majority of the time it literally is just nothing, or ridiculous scenarios that we make up that sound stupid when said out loud. I don't actually know how to think about nothing, but very much relate to the second item. It's not even that it's stupid, it's that by the time conversation is lulled enough for someone to ask, "What you thinking about?" I'm so many layers deeper that unpacking it would take longer than they'll remain interested. Saying nothing is easier than walking someone through, a Burger King sign. Do you think a king would actually eat at Burger King if he got teleported to now? It's probably tastier than literally anything he's ever had in his life because of all the fat and salt and lack of rotting meat masked with spices, but also peasants can order it, so maybe his favorite flavor is actually exclusivity? But then, where would you take a king if you had to impress him? Although, unless he traveled with his entire court, he's just some guy, so don't really have to worry about his divine right or whatever. And if he told people he was a king too much, he'd just get locked away. Besides, if I took him to the movies or whatever, he'd think we were gods. Or maybe witches. But what's he gonna do about it? So if I wanted to blow his mind like, "Yeah bro, I'm far from nobody and live 100 times better than you," where else would you take him? That's why you get with someone that remains interested in that and plays along. It's amazing being married to someone that gets those weird thoughts, and we spend an afternoon discussing the weirdest things and can look back on that story and laugh. Story 8. I am perfectly happy sitting in silence playing video games for a few hours at a time on a weekend morning or night, and it doesn't mean I'm mad at or ignoring you or don't want to spend time together. Your boy is just trying to chill. Woman here, but I definitely need my hobby time as well. My current boyfriend and I love to take a few hours out of our day to go do our hobbies, then reconvene and talk about what we did. I will say this though, I used to be in a relationship with a man who did use video games as a method to ignore me. When I say he played for 16 hours a day on weekends and until bedtime every night after work, I am dead serious. He considered taking the long way home from Walmart, taking me out on a Saturday, and got insulted when I asked why we didn't do anything else. He wouldn't even hang out out with his friends when they were in our own living room. I would be hanging out with him while he sat in his room watching top 10 anime battles on YouTube. Couldn't play Smite because, well, his friends were all in our house and not in front of their computers. Please be patient with a partner who questions your video game time. You deserve time to enjoy your hobby. They should never take that away from you. They don't have the right to control all of your free time. Sometimes you need to entertain yourself and not depend on your partner's attention. Of course, trying to figure out where this insecurity comes from may help both of you better understand each other. My boyfriend is very passionate about skateboarding and music, and he takes time every day to partake in these activities. He also makes sure to be home by meal times to enjoy with me, and to have days where it's just the two of us. I'm sure most of you are aware enough to balance these things, but your partner may have had a very negative experience before. They may not want to manipulate you. They may just be paranoid. Too long didn't read? Communication is awesome. Story 9. We love compliments. I can't talk for everyone, get so few, but those I do get really means a lot. I've read this before on similar threads, and it's really had an impact on how to talk to men. Outside of a performance review, most adult men don't hear compliments. Go out of my way to give people, especially men, specific praise now. I have a teaching degree, and I know how important specific praise is for kids, but no one's ever talked about what happens when people stop giving you that. My husband is literally tired of compliments at this point, though. Almost every day I tell my husband that I'm grateful for him. I think he's been fed up with it for some time now. I was once at my cousin's wedding alone. I was pretty uninterested in dancing and just sat at my table alone. A gay couple around my age came up to me and said that I was attractive and should dance with them. Even as a straight man, it changed my mood completely. Later on, my mom came up to me smiling and asked, "What did those guys say to me?" Even she noticed the difference. All it takes is a simple compliment. I feel like as a man, I'm rarely complimented. Men are human. We enjoy positive feedback as much as the next person. I think this also points out that women feel like men have to be stoic and not feeling and anything like that. That image that men can't show emotions doesn't just affect men. Men not getting compliments shows that women are affected by that kind of trope as well. Story 10. Sometimes stuff is just difficult. For no reason, it can also be sad. Just because I don't cry doesn't mean I'm not sad. And we don't get hints. Just tell us what you want, and things would be so much easier for everyone involved. Also, we don't want to be the ones who always initiate spicy time. It makes us feel creepy sometimes, because I just want to be wanted sometimes. I read the toilet metaphor on a forum, and it's now my go-to to explain this to girls. Spicy time in your relationship is like the toilet in your house. It's not the best part of your house, and it's not the reason you bought the house. It's not the thing you think of first about why you love your house. But if your toilet isn't working right, it's the absolute #1 most important priority, and it needs to be fixed immediately. No, the relationship isn't just about spicy time. But if we're not having it, or if it's unfulfilling, or if it feels like we're unattractive, then yes, guys will obsess over that. It makes us feel creepy sometimes. Things were going great on this date years ago. We end up getting a room. Suddenly in the room, there's none of the positive signs I was getting, and things seem a bit awkward. So like one should in these situations, I did nothing and went to bed. We lost contact for a while, but later heard from a mutual friend that she was upset that I didn't just take what I wanted from her. Yeah, no. S-assault vibes are not my thing, thanks. Call me a romantic. Too bad. Other than that, I really liked her. Story 11. If I'm lying in bed with someone, just enjoying the moment together, I should be able to just enjoy the moment and let my mind drift to wherever it's going. If you want to talk about the future of the relationship or something, that's great, and we can do that if you start the conversation. But if you ask me out of the blue what I'm thinking about, and say Bolby's Slap 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 song from Jimmy Neutron, then you shouldn't get mad at me just because it's not the thing they wanted me to be thinking about. Just tell me you want to talk about the relationship, and we can do that. The trap all men fall in. Her. He's probably thinking about other girls. Him. Slap, 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 clap, 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 slap, 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 clap, clap, clap. I'd find that so hilarious if a guy said that to me. Story 12. My mansphere's hurt. You might want to get that checked. You mean you don't have a mansphere randomly throb with pain for a couple of minutes before stopping? Yep. Especially after applying toothpaste. I learned it the hard way once. Tried it another time to confirm it was not my mind making up the pain. Teen years were the best. We don't know where we want to eat either. I tell every woman I date, if you don't make a decision, we're getting tacos. If we get tacos 20 times in a row, so be it. I love tacos. My wife also loves tacos, and defaults to that quite regularly. Oh, the where to eat question. Sometimes I think that's a more dangerous question than what are you thinking about. There's nothing more frustrating than asking where you want to eat, getting told, just whatever you want to eat. You choose, I'll go along with it, then getting shot down for every suggestion we make. It makes us feel like you have no incentive to be a part of the relationship. You just want to be along for the ride or something. Story 13. A boner doesn't always mean I'm horny. It sometimes just pops up out of nowhere. And conversely, a flaccid member doesn't necessarily mean I'm not horny. Raising ED awareness one forum comment at a time. The literal definition of I woke up like this. No reason boner. Classic. It baffles scientists. No reason boner. Story 14. I want real knight armor for my birthday, but I'm not allowed to say so because society forces me to hide it. Who doesn't want one of these? Just get some swords and hang them on the wall around your house as a hint. She'll get it eventually if she truly understands you. First, you buy a sword. Then, a custom family crest that you hang above the mantle. Bonus if the sword slots into it. Then you buy a saddle. Why a saddle, she asks. Then the horse. Then horse armor. Then you buy a lance. Hire a few squires. Then you mount your mighty steed, call your squire for a lance, and ask her if something seems off. Like something is missing. The ensemble isn't quite complete. You feel light and unencumbered. Don't you get it yet? Story 15. We actually really want to be complimented too. A 60-year-old woman complimented me 5 years ago, and it still makes me feel good, which just shows how little we get compliments. A Canadian stripper said I had nice teeth 6 years ago, and I still think about it to this day. This made me laugh out loud. Dude, a girl on Tinder a couple of years ago said to me, "You're not ugly, you're normal." And honestly, I think about it every once in a while whenever I feel unattractive. That's very telling if the best compliment that gets you going that you still think about is, "You're not ugly, you're normal." Doesn't it seem weird that girls think dropping hints is the way to go and not giving compliments? The two ideas seem very opposed to each other. It seems like a very backwards way of thinking. Do you think maybe it's because dropping hints about being into something is kind of about what she wants, and giving compliments to a guy is focused on him and what he's like? There might be something there. Story 16. No, I'm not hitting on you. I'm asking if you're okay because you fell down the stairs. The fact I shoved you down should be completely irrelevant. Gold. I have a boyfriend, crawls away with a broken leg. So accurate. One time a woman dropped her keys in a parking lot, chased her down with her keys. Miss, excuse me, miss? Turns around. I have a boyfriend. Yeah, and I'm married, but you dropped your keys. Story 17. We aren't great with hints. Communication is key. Subtle hints don't work. Strong hints don't work either. Just say it. I really like you. Please go on a date with me. What kind of sick prank is this? When I was in college, I lived in a co-ed house. My roommate's best friend was this girl I had known from classes and had been friendly with. Never thought anything of. She'd text me asking if I was out at the bars once in a while, and I thought that's what friends do. One night after the bar, me and her go get food and walk down to the park and lay down watching the stars, talking at like 2 a.m. She's holding my arm. I still think nothing of it. Friends, right? Story 18. A month later, we're at the club, and her friend comes up to me and is like, "Did she text you? She's at home and wants to see you." I check my phone and I see she's like, "Not feeling like going out, but you can come hang out if you want." Smiley face. Her roommates are like, "Go, go, go, go to hers with food." And we're just talking in her room. My dumb face still doesn't realize what's going on and spend an hour just chatting with her on her bed until mid-conversation she just grabs my face and starts making out. That was when I actually realized what was happening. Boys are dumb. If we miscommunicate and think you're hitting on me when you aren't, I'm in big trouble if I try to reciprocate. I think that's another big part of it too. If we guess wrong, we could be canceled or even arrested. Our life could be over by someone accusing us and winning at being some kind of S-assaulter. There's a lot more pressure on us there than we like to think, and some people would rather not admit to. Again, it's all about communication. Tell us what you want. Story 19. All the hurtful things they say and do don't just magically disappear from men's memory. We have feelings too and stuff. Tying on a man for being honest with feelings as not being manly is not only cruel, but also highly ironic considering there's a constant yearning for men with emotion. I think I remember a quote by someone that went, "The axe forgets, the tree remembers." And that couldn't be more true. Story 20. We are people too. We have the same feelings, fears, and dreams as you do. Our way of expressing ourselves may be different than yours, but we still experience the same range of feelings that you do. Please don't treat us as something less than yourself. We feel just as much as you do, and we express it differently. Story 21. We like random gifts. We like random hugs. We like random signs of affection and love. Sometimes just a cup of coffee in my favorite mug is enough to convince me it's going to be a good day. Absolutely. My wife used to do little things like place her hand at the small of my back or touch my shoulder as she walked past. These tiny acts of affection really do go a long way, and they're the main thing I miss. The main thing he misses? What happened to this guy? Either he got divorced or the woman passed away. Hopefully the guy wasn't betrayed by this woman. Either way, it's sad for him that he misses what this woman did for him. Story 22. You know that complaint that women sometimes have that just because they're polite to you doesn't mean they're interested in you? Yeah, that works both ways. I'm not saying good morning because I want to bed you. I'm not holding the door for you because I think you'll reward me with some nookie for doing so, etc., etc. I'm doing so because I like you. I'm a decent human being and I'm being polite. Story 23. We want to be seen as spicy, beautiful creatures. Many of us want to be pursued also, to feel like we don't have to always motivate women into wanting us. Nobody should be the designated initiator 100% of the time. I'm genuinely tired of this junk. Story 24. If you genuinely compliment a guy, don't be upset if they don't react the same way a woman would react to a random compliment. Most dudes get them so infrequently that when it does happen, there's a part of them that wonders if it was genuine, or if they're just giving them a polite and/or pity compliment. This often leads to an awkward, unenthusiastic response to said compliment. It never occurs to most guys to just say thanks. Yes, we do like compliments. I also think girls should probably take a look at how often this guy gets compliments in his real life. I say that because you might get a better knowledge of how to react to the way he reacts to your compliment. If he doesn't get compliments very often, don't expect him to get all gushy because you gave him one. You'd expect a guy to know something about you a little bit before they approach you and talk to you. You'd want to know that he's interested in you. Story 25. Men love being the target of a romantic gesture. Many men never have been. I got asked out on a date once, 6 years ago. I still recount it for the occasional serotonin boost. I bought a stranger a drink at the bar once because it was karaoke night and he killed it. Still friends over a decade later. When I met his sister, he introduced me as that girl I told you about who bought me a drink. Story 26. We went on that date, and I kept you warm on that bench, and you rested your head on my shoulders. And afterwards we kissed and said goodbye. I still wasn't entirely sure you were into me, and I've been thinking about how dumb I am for the last couple of days. You jest, but this is painfully true. Story 27. About the shrinkage. Sometimes it hides like a frightened turtle. I was in the pool! I was in the pool! Also, we feel bad when we can't get up. It's 100% not about the girl. I just saw that episode of Seinfeld not too long ago. Do girls really know about the shrinkage? I don't think it's part of the knowledge they teach girls in biology class. I think there's a lot of those little bits and pieces of knowledge that should be taught in those classes to boys and girls. Story 28. When I say I don't mind, I really mean it. If I did mind, I would say so. Anytime my boyfriend would say, I don't mind, and I'd keep asking, are you sure? And after a while, he legit said this exact thing to me. It honestly made me paranoid. Feel a million times better to be assured like that. Story 29. A stiff sausage is a non-voluntary muscle reaction, with or without stimuli. Only a selected few have mastered the ability to manually command their boners to stop being erect. I knew a guy called Brian Lefebvre, or Leffy or something. He could go hard to soft and back again on command. Dude was a legend. Had a pretty intense vibe, like he was hiding something. Story 30. Sometimes men just don't get hard. It's not you. It's many things, from lifestyle and diet to stress and anxiety, and just getting older. Please try not to take it as a sign of lack of attraction or affection. Sometimes it just happens. It's called arousal nonconcordance. The reverse is also true. Just because a man has an erection doesn't mean he's turned on. Yep, this is true. So very, very true. We have less control over that part of us than you might think. Some things can sway it in a certain direction, but sometimes it's just something beyond our grasp. We should be thankful we have any control over it at all. Story 31. If you don't want to hear the truth about something, don't ask me to tell you the truth, because I'm going to tell you the truth every time. Her. Do you think my best friend is pretty? Him. So we're breaking up then? Story 32. When a male is being nice to you, it doesn't necessarily mean they want something or even find you attractive. We are more than capable of being nice just for the sake of it. Story 33. It's okay to make the first move. Guys can be shy too. Come talk to me instead of staring at me. But when they do come talk to me, I don't know if they're just being nice or making small talk. There's a lot of talk about wanting equality. It should definitely apply to situations like this. Don't be afraid to talk to us and be forward. I think a lot of girls are afraid of being accused of being untoward, or what's the word? A hussy. I wouldn't really think this. I'd be relieved if a girl actually came up and talked to me. Story 34. Sometimes men just need some alone time. From everyone and everything. The longer I go without it, the more I need it. The more I have it, the less I want it. Story 35. We will remember a genuine compliment forever. When I was 14 and bagging groceries after school, a girl told me I had beautiful eyes. It's been 25 years. I think about it all the gosh darn time. Story 36. That every expression that comes across our face does not relate to you. Some of us have a lot going on between the ears, and we're trying to make sense of it. Again, I'm not saying girls need to be the center of attention at all times. There are some that actually do, but it's not all the time. But there are some times they are so hypersensitive to our faces. That expression may be just us wondering if we really saved our game the last time we played before we turned it off. Story 37. Playing hard to get does not work for a lot of people. It's 2021. Ain't gonna chase no one. She says no, I'm backing all the way up. Story 38. Please, ask us out. It makes us feel wanted and loved. I asked my fiancé out. He's also blatantly told me that nothing would have ever happened if I didn't make that first move. Story 39. I really like to hang out with my friends because I love them, not because I don't want to spend time with you. Not many people bat an eye if girls go out with their girlfriends. I don't think a lot of boyfriends or husbands would bat their eye if girls want to just go out with their girlfriends. Don't be surprised if we want to spend times with our guy friends. It's healthy to have relationships outside of your relationship. It's better to be well-rounded than isolated. Story 40. Making a move on a guy will nearly always be appreciated, as well as communicating issues clearly with no bad stuff. Story 41. That sometimes a hug or nice compliment can mean a lot. We can ride that wave for quite a while. Story 42. When you tug my stuff, you're not starting a lawnmower. Again, this falls under communication. I think this statement alone proves that not just guys watch porn. Girls can get the wrong idea about what to do by watching this kind of stuff as well. It also proves that stereotypes about men and what they like can be just as dangerous as stuff about women and what they like by watching this stuff. Story 43. A good hug is always welcome. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.